What's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man, 1993, catching up on some more baseball news. As a longtime journeyman pitcher, which I'm wondering if this might be one of the last players from the old MVP baseball games I can remember that was on that game. As far as I can remember, I might have to go back and look at the old rosters just for the heck of it. But longtime pitcher, journeyman, Edwin Jackson, who pitched for 14 different teams over his 17-year career. Last month, on September 9th, 2022, announced his retirement from Major League Baseball. Jackson, though, has not pitched in the majors since 2019. His career was from 2003 to 2019, and again, he suited up for 14 different teams. In an Instagram post he had posted on September 9th, he said, 19 years ago today, I was blessed with an opportunity to tie up my laces and step onto the field to make my debut with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Today, I am happily hanging up my cleats and closing a 22-year baseball career. Jackson went on to thank his wife, parents, sisters, children, and the rest of his family before expressing his gratitude to various coaches, trainers, and doctors who assist him. This game has taught me many life lessons and allowed me to evolve into the person I am today. I will forever have memories that will live within me from the game I love, dedicated my life to. Thank you, baseball, for an amazing life experience I will never forget. He was a former 6th-round draft pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers out of Georgia High School in 2001. He was also one of the best pitching prospects thereafter, and he broke into the big leagues at exactly 19 years ago on his 20th birthday, starting 3 of 4 appearances down the stretch. He bounced on and off of LA's active roster before being traded to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays between the 2005 and 2006 offseason. In Tampa Bay, he worked primarily as a reliever, but he took on getting the starting role by the 2007 campaign, which put on a stretch of 7 consecutive seasons, which he would get at least 30 starts and 160 innings. He always was probably like a middle of the rotation starter, and very solid too as well. He was then traded after the 2008 season to the Tampa Bay Rays. To the Detroit Tigers for outfielder Matt Joyce, who also just recently announced his retirement as well. And that following year, he tossed his career best 214 innings pitched with a 3.62 ERA. He also earned an All-Star nod with a 2.52 ERA through the first half of that season. He was then involved, though, in a big trade, a 3-team trade with the Diamondbacks, Yankees, and Tigers, of course, as he would go to the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks would then send Max Scherzer to the Tigers, while the Tigers would send Curtis Granderson to the Yankees. Of course, his stint in the desert was very brief, but he had one of the most memorable moments of his career, which was on June 25th, 2010, in which he, going 149 pitches, he tossed the first ever no-hitter in Diamondbacks history. He struck out 6, but he also did walk 8 that game. So not the sharpest, but still, he accomplished the feat still, despite the high pitch count. And of course, not long after that, he was traded to the White Sox for Daniel Hudson. He pitched 11 starts down the line. And then the Blue Jays picked him up on the morning of July 27th. But then, of course, his stint in Toronto only lasted a few hours. Toronto would then flip him onto the Cardinals that sent former outfielder Colby Rasmus to the Blue Jays, and Jackson went to the Cardinals. He, of course, would play for the Cardinals for the second half of that season, pitching a 3.58 ERA in 12 starts. He, of course, made 4 starts in the postseason, even though his numbers were not that great, but the Cardinals did secure, of course, a World Series title. And then Jackson would then go to the Nationals through free agency. And he spent the 2012 campaign there, helping the Nationals to their first playoff appearance since they moved to Washington, D.C. that year. He then would sign a 4-year deal with the Cubs that following offseason, and he continued to soak up a lot of innings, but his numbers were definitely starting to fall once he got to Chicago. He was then released after 2.5 seasons, and then kicked out an even more rapid trip around the leagues, as he would then pitch for the Braves, the Marlins, Padres, Orioles, back to the Nationals, Athletics, Blue Jays, and then back to the Tigers over the next 4 years. He also would alternate between the bullpen and the starting rotation as well, generally serving as a depth option. It was still solid in the roles. After the 2019 season, Jackson had signed a minor league deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks, the team that he had pitched a no-hitter with. He, however, though, never made it back to the majors, though, after the 2019 season. He did appear on the U.S. Olympic team last summer, and of course, he still had a desire to go back, but he just never got the opportunity. Altogether, Edwin Jackson pitched 412 major league games. He tossed 1,960 innings with a 4.78 ERA, striking out a little bit over 1,500 batters, and winning 107 games. I definitely think Edwin Jackson, being a journeyman, of course, bouncing through 14 teams, some with multiple stints, had a very solid career. He was definitely a solid option that was usually out on the market that any team could pick up. And for the most time, he did pitch well. His stints were not too long. I mean, his probably longest stint was probably with the Rays, I would say. Passed all over the place. But I think he was always a very reliable starting pitcher, for sure. Middle of the rotation, or to the bottom at times, but he was reliable anywhere he went. So, yeah, definitely a very solid journeyman. No Hall of Famer, for sure, of course, but I think he definitely had a great reputation, and he was a solid addition to anybody's rotation as well, as I keep saying. He's 39 years old now. I can't believe that he's that old. I still remember him being like a rookie on MVP Baseball 2005. And, of course, I know he snuck in a few homers. I remember there was a game when he was with the Diamondbacks where he hit a home run against the Pirates. The Pirates lost that game like 15-6, and they scored like 12 runs in one inning or whatnot, whatever it was. But yeah, that I do remember his no-hitter. So yeah, Edwin Jackson, very solid career. I think things got to work out the best in his favor. And yes, I do wish him for sure the best in his retirement, for sure, and starting the next chapter of his life. So congratulations, Edwin Jackson, on a very, very solid 17-year career and being a great addition to 14 different teams that you pitched for. So guys, that's my thoughts on Edwin Jackson announcing his retirement back on September 9th, 2022. What are your guys' thoughts on Edwin Jackson announcing his retirement and his solid career? Do you have any favorite memories of Edwin Jackson as well? Please be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. Until then, guys, I check it out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your night. And peace out, everybody.